Kind of forgot the music changed.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Golden Hour Podcast.
Brought to you by me, Connor McCaskill, and lovely co-host, Mr. Ramsey, please. Mr. Ramsey, please.
I'm going to confuse everybody because that's a sound bite of you saying, Mr. Ramsey, please. And I'm trying to figure out why I have this saved as a soundboard object.
Mr. Ramsey, please. Yeah, I don't know who Mr. Ramsey is. I don't know why I said this. I am convinced that it was AI generated.
What's up, everybody?
Are you gonna introduce yourself or no?
Yes, of course. My name is David Altizer, and I'm here once again. Sorry, we're a little late. We've skipped about 2 weeks now.
Yeah,
but it's for good reason. We just got back from Vegas, baby.
Ooh, barrel.
Yeah. NAB 2023 came and went, and boy, we had a great time, did we not?
Oh yeah. It was like a total sprint, start to finish. Just tons of people, tons of friends, tons of parties. It was a great time.
Yeah, I mean, how many years have you been coming now?
Since the first one I went to would have been 2018. That would have been the first one. The year that which I think we talked about last time, but the year the Blackmagic Pocket 4K released. That would have been the first one. Crazy year. That was a good one.
And you know what's fun too is, last year they did have it. The year before that, I believe, were still closed for COVID. So the first time they were back from COVID, and I believe, and it was pretty light attendance last year.
Yeah,
it was still fun, and we had a great time. But man, this year it felt just like the old times. Like everybody was there, very packed. I think I heard from somebody that there was like 150,000 people that came.
Oh, gosh.
So NAB is not just the YouTube filmmaker crowd. It's not just filmmakers. Far from it. It's we actually are a very small subset of the community as a whole of like what NAB is.
Mm-hmm.
And NAB's been around forever. It's they actually just celebrated their 100th year anniversry.
Which is crazy. That means since the 1920s, they've been doing NAB.
Yeah.
Wow. What technology was out in the 1920s where they're like, introducing the Model T for Tesla? Come and get your popcorn. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what are they releasing in 1923 for technology and broadcasting?
Coming to you for the first time, a microphone.
Yeah, they were like, I mean, what was it? The radio? They released the radio. It was a big deal.
Yeah, the radio. It was like, for your next motion picture, consider new microphone audio.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. That's great.
Here, but yeah, 100 years, and like I was saying, there's plenty more to NAB than just the film and video space. And if you are listening to this and you are unfamiliar with what NAB even is, it's been a yearly convention of people in the broadcast space that includes cinema, TV, radio, and internet and editing. I guess audio, just anything that has to do with kind of media seems to be there. DJI has a booth there. Sony, Canon, Nikon, Fuji, all the camera companies seem to be there. Mm-hmm. All the audio companies that make microphones and microphone accessories. And then for post-production, Adobe is there. Blackmagic is there. Apple is there, but they're there in secret. They have people that work for Apple that kind of walk around, but they don't have a booth.
I did not know about these secret agent Apple workers. That's kind of awesome.
Well, I actually met somebody who, and I won't name his name because it is always in secret apparently, but
wow.
I did meet a guy, and he was talking to a friend of mine, and he said, "Oh, David, you need to meet so-and-so. He works for a special fruit company." That's what he said. So yeah, they kind of go there, they see what's going on, they talk to users and stuff. So I wish Final Cut had like a booth and a presence, because I'm still holding out as a Final Cut user.
They don't care enough to show up, Dave. Yeah, I'm surprised Adobe shows their face, to be honest with you.
And Adobe, yeah, I mean, they have been crushing it with the new AI technology. There's a new feature with the voice AI. So, I mean, before we kind of get into it, let's just discuss like just Vegas in general,
Okay.
where we stayed, just kind of NAB in general. Like, what are some of your big takeaways outside of the gear and some of the releases that came out?
I mean, just in general, my experience, NAB is always a great time because it's obviously for you and I, it's a chance to get to see all of our YouTube filmmaking friends, and like meet up with different people that we know work in different companies, like Kondor Blue. We get to hang out with them. In fact, Kondor Blue is Lucas. I should just say Lucas. He, the owner of Kondor Blue, he put us up in a house actually the entire time we were there, which was a wild house. I mean, it was a huge mansion with like a bowling alley, pool table, and half basketball court all inside this like weird basement thing. So Kondor Blue put us up there. And so, yeah, it's just a great time to get to hang out with friends and see some cool stuff.
Did you even do any not NAB, any Vegas-y type stuff, like going on the strip and walking around and stuff like that? Because I just went to the convention and then I went to the house, and that's all I ever did. So I didn't even do any Vegas stuff, like traditional Vegas stuff. I feel like it's played out for me. I've been so many times over the years.
I mean, to be honest, Vegas is potentially one of my least favorite places in America. It's just not for me. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of noises. I'm an introvert. I like to be at home, chilling out, having a great time.
People, lots of noises.
Yeah, don't like it. It's just not my thing, you know? Yeah. But I did go onto the strip once briefly. Armando, myself, Photo Joseph, I'm trying to remember everyone. Jonathan Masters, Evan, Armando Shooter. We all went out and we were messing around with a DZO lens that they let us borrow, their new anamorphic Pavo lens that they just announced. It was cool.
Yeah, the strip in Vegas is perfect for bokeh balls. And, anamorphic flares and bokeh.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it looked good. That's for sure. So it made for good footage. It just wasn't my thing. And at a certain point, they're like, "Let's keep going." And it was like midnight, and I'm like, "I'm going back." It's like I'm not staying here. I'm Ubering. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, Connor and I took different flights because you're a Southwest credit card user, so you get those points. Yep. My brother and I opted to go for the dirt cheapest option, which was Frontier. It was like
Frontier.
Yeah, Frontier.
How was that? Did the plane was it made of duct tape or?
No, it was fine. It was great. The seat was comfortable. The people who worked there were wonderful. But everything is extra. So we personally, my brother and I are very similar in that we don't care. We just put like a couple pairs of underwear, extra shirt, extra pair of pants in a backpack, and that's it. And so like we both just lived out of our backpacks the whole week because we were able to just travel light. And I also intentionally, this is the first time in the history of my experience going to NAB, and I've been going for almost 10 years now, where I didn't bring any camera gear. I only brought my phone. And I did bring my laptop to do some editing on the plane. But yeah, I did not bring my computer, or I didn't bring any camera gear. So it gave me a lot of room in my backpack. And it made my shoulders very happy when I was walking around the show floor with almost nothing in my backpack. That was nice.
Yeah, I wish I did the same because I brought everything and I used none of it.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. It's funny because I feel like this happens to the best of us. In fact, I would say almost every other creator was similar in that they show up on the first day with like their full rig and they're like walking around holding it, and maybe it's around their neck or maybe it's on a gimbal or something. And then the next day it's like, oh, you stripped it off the gimbal. Okay. And then the third day you're like, where is it?
Yeah. Except for Josh Yo, who had like an entire first person point of view rig or whatever mounted to the front of him and like hanging a camera off. And he was running around the convention like a maniac.
His video came out as we're recording this. His video just released today.
Yeah.
Quite a fun, entertaining video. So I would recommend going to Make Art Now and watching his latest video titled Top 10 Film Gear that blew my mind at NAB. And his editor Connor, he has his own friend named Connor who is doing his edits, and he did a wonderful job, it seems. So
Joshio had him working into the wee hours of the morning on it.
Yeah,
poor guy. He's like, I like roll out of my bed and I like walk out into the main room, and he like looks at me with red eyes, and I'm like, oh, you've been up.
And here we are on a Monday, like 4 days after NAB's over, and it's going live. So how much sleep could he have had?
I don't know. The kid lives off Red Bull or something. Has to.
But then Photo Joseph, I saw walking around the show floor. He had like a backpack on the front of his chest. Did you see that?
Yeah.
With the QR code. And in the backpack was a cellular modem that was sending all of the footage he was filming on his S5 II going to an editor in LA, is what he told everybody. I have an editor in LA. And I was like, why do you have to add LA at the end? Can you just say an editor?
Because it sounds pretentious, I think, is the answer to that. No, he also, yes, he sent it to his editor in LA, and then his LA editor sent it to Evan, Armando's shooter, who then actually did the posting. So like he was walking around with two phones. One was Photo Joseph's phone and one was his own. And so that he could do the posting as soon as the video is done, because Joseph was running around recording more content. So he was a little content machine. That's one.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I think it was an experiment with the new Atomos cloud technology and kind of all that stuff with the Atomos, because he had it all rigged out with the Ninja, with the S5 II. And so yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess it worked.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, I'd say, Vegas aside, and my in-laws live in Vegas, and my wife actually grew up in Vegas for about 10 years or so. I think she went to elementary school in Vegas. I proposed to my wife, my now wife. I proposed to her in Vegas. We go there outside of NAB. We go there to visit my in-laws and stuff. So like I'm very familiar with the area, and like the whole strip and just all that stuff, like it's of no interest to me now. It's completely been like, when I first started going, I was like, oh, I gotta see all the magic shows and stuff, because I used to be a magician, so I had no idea. I do love magic. And it, sidebar, there was actually a card magician at the Atlas booth, and we stirred up a conversation, and we started talking about stuff, and he had a deck of cards there. And I didn't even know he was a magician. It was just a deck of cards sitting on the table, and I grabbed it and I started like doing some fancy shuffles and stuff. And he started naming them. He's like, "Oh, you're doing the Pharaoh Shuffle." I was like, "Oh, you are a magician, I see." Top of the hat.
He was like, "No." He's like, "I just know this for no reason."
It was cool. We kind of talked shop for about 30 minutes. He was showing me stuff, and then I showed him stuff. And I do feel it made me feel really good. I actually showed him a trick. The one where you pick a card and then you think about it and you squeeze my arm, and then whatever card you picked is like in blood on my arm.
Yes,
that one.
That's cool.
I showed that to him, and he was like, "Wow, I can't believe that! Wow, that's a great idea, dude. Thank you." I was like, "Yeah, use it. It's a great concept." So he was like, "I never even seen that before. That's great." So anyway, so I felt good that I actually taught a real working magician a trick. But anyways, what was I saying?
I don't know.
The best part to me really is just the people, and it's not only the YouTuber crowd that Connor mentioned. I mean, though that is awesome to see all the familiar faces that we see throughout the year on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube, that are the guys who are like in our little space. But it's also the faces of the people commenting on the videos, the people that would be considered regulars that we see on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. And there really is a community of people in this whole world of the gear filmmaking space. And all of you listeners right now are part of it. And a lot of you guys who are, hopefully listening to this now came up to Connor and myself. And honestly, that was one of the most flattering things. I don't know about you, Connor, but I did have a handful of people come up to me and say, "Hey, I've been listening to the Golden Hour podcast and I love it. And I love what you and Connor are doing." So thank you guys so much for coming up to us and saying that, and for just being there and for listening. And I think for me, it's easy to see the numbers on the screen and to kind of get super focused on the performance of a video. And it's like, oh, that's only a 5 out of 10, or oh shoot, that's a 9 out of 10. God forbid a 10 out of 10 when it comes to YouTube performance. But regardless, like those numbers, especially some of you who are actual fans, and it's kind of even weird to say that, but thank you so much for watching the videos, for supporting us, and for listening to the podcast, because when we actually get to be together in person, it's kind of like it really humanizes everything, and it's like, wow, this is really cool. So
yeah, I wanted to remember the guy's name that stopped us. It's Matt, right?
Yeah.
Matt found us walking around. He found me by the Fujifilm booth because, of course, he did. That's, of course, where I was. I was hounding the Fujifilm guys. I was like, let me buy an X100V. Like, I will buy it. Let me buy it. And they were like, we don't have any. And I was like, I know. But you do, right? Like, come on, there has to be one, like, somewhere hidden, you know?
On eBay like everybody else, Con.
No, I don't. I'll find my way around it. Now, anyways, but yeah, he found me there. He was renting out the GFX 100S because Fujifilm was doing free like loaners. It was just like sign up, get a free camera to mess around with for the day. It was a kind of a cool thing. But yeah, he stopped me there and he was like, "Hey, I love the podcast." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." So
totally.
Hey, if you're listening, thanks for saying hi. It meant a lot.
Yeah, totally. Paul Feinberg and Kyle Watts, Jason Sanderford. Those three guys really are awesome to me. I just love those guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're fans of the show. Paul and Kyle have a show that they had me on, Creator Camp, I think. Remember that silly show that they did?
Yeah.
It's so great.
I tuned in for a second. I can't remember. I think I was on a job, but I saw you guys were live. So I popped in and said, hey, or something.
And then I did get to meet Gerald and Josh's children, because Josh Yo brought his wife and son, and then Gerald brought his partner and his son. So it was cool to see like some babies like around the house as well, and to like just talk to people about things that weren't always about gear and YouTube as well. So and that was really my goal, was to just kind of be there to help out Lucas with Kondor Blue, which can be, kind of part of the discussion. In fact, we do have a discussion with Hobie that we recorded from. Hobie is from Kondor Blue, and we recorded a whole section with him at NAB at the Kondor Blue booth. So that will come later in this episode.
Hobie is kind of like a one-word name, like Beyonce or Cher. It's just Hobie.
You don't need a last name when you're Hobie.
When you just say Hobie, it's like, Hobie with Kondor Blue.
Totally. But yeah, I think it was a really fruitful time. My brother went with me, and we just were there to serve and just to talk to people. And I don't know, it was just really life-giving to us as extroverts.
Yeah. I was having like an internal dilemma because I was just meeting people every day, every minute. And like, I love meeting people, like somewhat, but I didn't have time to myself. So man, when I got home, I was just like, I just sat on a couch and like stared into the void. And I was like, I just need a moment. Yeah.
You did a great job. You and Lucas actually from Kondor Blue he's an introvert as well, actually, believe it or not. But you kind of have to pretend to not be if you want to run a business, and it's part of society to like be social. But I would imagine it. They always say like an extrovert wakes up every morning with an empty glass, and as they continue to interact with people, it fills up with water, and then at the end they're just filled up, and then they're ready to go to sleep. And then the reverse is true for an introvert. Their glass is filled to the top when they wake up.
Yep.
And as the day progresses, as they interact with more and more people, it just depletes until they finally go to bed. And so for you, probably by lunchtime, you were already depleted.
Oh, easily. And then we didn't go to bed, because we're all hanging out doing whatever until like midnight passed.
Yeah.
And then up again at 6:37 and doing it again. And yeah. I mean, it was great, but it was also terrible.
But yeah, I mean, we kind of went together ish. I mean, but we did travel separately. Like I said, you went Southwest, we went Frontier, and I was kind of just hanging with Matthew. And like I said, I pretty much was at the Kondor Blue booth every day, pretty much all day. Whereas you were kind of roaming around with Armando, and we did get to see Cam for that first day, which was great. Cam Mackey, friend of the show.
Yeah, the first time you met him in person, right?
Yeah, it was. And
pretty crazy.
I know that Tyler Stallman wanted to be there, but he had a job that made him go somewhere else. So that would have been cool to see him, but next time. And yeah, I mean, did you see Potato Jet? I saw him there. I saw Gene for a minute.
I briefly saw him. I ran his previous shooter. I think he edited too, Sam. I ran into him a few times. We caught up. It was really good to see him.
Got to see Ken Bolito from This Is, or Austin Evans. He's a good friend of mine. It's great to see him.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just always great to see people and to chat YouTube and talk about what's going on. And yeah, it was awesome. Good times. But you and I were kind of crossing paths every day. And every time I would catch you, you would almost be like, well, I got this party that I was invited to. I should probably go, but I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
I think I always go to bed. Doesn't matter. You don't have to go. And you're like, I should probably go though.
And then I went. Yeah.
and then somehow Armando would drag you into it probably.
Armando's, I love hanging out with Armando. He's like, I don't know how he has so much energy still. It's like, it's unbelievable. He's like, come on, let's go. It'll be great. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
He pushes you. That's good.
Yeah, it's probably healthy. Probably.
So yeah, let's go on to talk about some of the gear and the software that we saw that interested us at NAB. And like I said, we're gonna chat with Hobie a little bit more about some of the Kondor stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But to begin with that, I mean, one of the coolest things that Kondor Blue released is this handle that they announced that is basically the same size. I mean, it's a little thicker than your standard handle, but
yeah, it's thick with 2 C's, but it's comfortable still,
Still comfortable. It's still totally like a normal handle size, but inside the handle is a slot for an SSD. So you can slide in the SanDisk. I forget which make and model it is, but it's a very thin,
skinny boy.
It's like the width of a stick of gum or something.
Sure.
It just slots right in, and over USB-C, it can plug into whichever camera, can output recording over USB-C, which at the moment is the GH6. The S52X is sort of confirmed, but not really. Like Panasonic said, the wording they said was, if it doesn't do it, we will be surprised. Is what.
But the other S52 does, right?
No, it does not. The X is the only one that does the USB-C out to SSD. That's one of the selling features of it.
Got it. Okay, I missed that somehow. I assumed that the S52 could do it as well, just less stuff with that. Anyways, okay, so just the GH6. Yeah, that makes sense why they had it on the GH6 and not the S52 at the show. I didn't think very much, did I?
They did have it rigged up on the S52X though.
They did.
Yeah, but anyways, and then obviously Blackmagic for years has done it with the Blackmagic Pocket 4K, where you could just output from a USB-C to SSD. So you can do that on the 4K, the 6K, 6K Pro, etc. And what is exciting is I do think we will be seeing other cameras doing this soon. So I think this product and the idea of it it's forward thinking, just like open gate, just like shutter angle. So
that's why. So Sony won't have it then.
I don't know.
I was just saying they don't have open gate, they don't have shutter angle, so they don't have this either.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Really, there's no rumors, there's no speculation, really. But
sorry, that was just a little dig. Okay, it was. I meant nothing, Sony. I love you. It's great.
It's just a really ingenious design because the way that the port is for the USB-C plug, it protects it from breaking, which is really nice. But without it being a clamp, it's hard to explain.
It's a right angle USB-C that plugs into the side of, or the front of the top handle. And then that has a little NATO on it so that a little monitor rig can be slid over top of it, which then sandwiches the USB-C right angle in between the top handle and the monitor mount. Therefore, it'll never unplug in the middle of your recording. So it keeps it protected and secure. It's pretty brilliant. You should go to their website. I'm assuming it's on their website and you can check it out.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great little handle. I mean, it's silly to be talking about a handle, but it's well designed and it's really, I don't know, it's just stuff like that is exciting because it's like, it's clean, it's simple, it's minimalist, and it gives you what you want if you want that kind of ProRes out of the HDMI or not the HDMI, the USB-C.
You know what's interesting is about it, I think that, I mean, I didn't get to mess with it that much, but to me, it actually kind of felt more comfortable than their other top handle. I kind of liked the elongated oval shape of it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, again, I haven't rigged up anything with it, but it just kind of felt like I would like it more.
Substantial.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I think the kind of one of the biggest kind of hits of the show, and at least talk of the town, like when we were talking to people, at least to me, is DaVinci Resolve. Can't get away from it, man. They keep updating it. There was a list that seemed like it was never ending of the firmware updates that they put out on this recent firmware release. Tell me one of those coolest features that you saw, Connor.
I'll tell you the only one that I saw because I looked at it 0 times. So the only thing I saw was what someone showed me, which was the AI auto relight tool. It's their relight tool. So basically what Blackmagic is doing in DaVinci Resolve is they're able to take a 2D image and essentially apply with AI a depth map to it. So it's able to tell, like, this is this far away, this is in front of this is casting shadows, or this would cast shadows on that, and blah, 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 right? Yeah. AI, series behind it or something. And you're able to take a light source, just like in Unreal Engine. If you know anything about Unreal Engine, you're able to put it into the scene, a 2D image, right? This is not a 3-dimensional space, but DaVinci's treating it like one, and you're able to relight your scene. So like if, for instance, in this situation right here, I'm like, oh, this needs more light over here. This is a 2D flat image. There's no depth data here, but I would be able to pop a light source in somewhere behind me or in front of me or whatever to cast light on myself and add a little bit of fill into my scene. And it would work with like everything that's around me and make it look natural. It was mind blowing.
I as you were saying that, I was playing Armando's clip on Twitter, which just blew my mind. And honestly, I would imagine that, the more simple the composition, the better it works. Sure. So the way that you and I do a lot of our video shooting, especially on YouTube, is it's just a talking head, review type thing. So even if you're out and about and you're, Connor likes to go to the forest and do these talking head things, right? So you're in the forest, just you, and then the background is kind of bokeh-ish. I would imagine that it would be able to select you as a person pretty well and isolate that, and then say it's very shadowy and the lighting isn't great. You just pop a light in there and there you go. Like, you're digitally adding a light. Now, obviously, there's limitations with that because there's only so much fake light that you can do with just ramping your exposure and stuff like that. And I would imagine that if you're shooting raw, that it would probably work better. I don't know, but the idea is mind blowing, but in practice, we'll just have to see. But I will say what I just saw with Armando looks pretty incredible. Just his little example on Twitter. I heard both Adobe and Resolve now have audio to text editing, not just transcripting your audio, but you can literally do what Descript has been doing for a while now, which is an online service which converts your video to text. And then, for example, say an entire paragraph, you just want to cut it out and put it somewhere else. Well, in the past, in a normal NLE, you use the blade tool and you cut out that section, you look at the waveforms, and you copy and paste it or cut and paste. Well, now you can literally just look at the text and select, just like any other text editor, like Word or your Notes app or whatever. You can select the paragraph that you want to take out, cut it out with, Command X or, Command C or whatever. And then literally scroll down the text and paste it where you want. And it's literally manipulating the video as you do that. It's just taking out the video where that text block is and pasting it. So you could literally edit only using text. And I believe it's also doing a little bit of AI with the blending of those things. So it's not just like a super hard cut of that, but you can also have it do like a J cut and you can like make it a smoother cut. So that way it's not just this super jarring cut. So it's interesting. I would say for somebody like us doing like your traditional gear review, it's a weird workflow because it's not something we're used to, but it may actually be an effective workflow because you can just read the text and edit it like you're editing a Word document. And then boom, your A-roll is just like locked in. And I actually think Adobe has a better version of this. I did hear a rumor that Resolve's version was sort of reactionary. So they saw that Adobe did it and they were already working on a version of it and they weren't going to announce it at NAB, but then they saw Adobe did it. So they did it.
So that, and then they're like, we'll fix it in post.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post, but we got to at least stay current with Adobe on this.
Well,
what are your thoughts on that type of editing?
Yeah, I think one thing also I heard about it, I forgot that was a feature that was announced. But one of the things I did hear about is I could take out those, what do they call them? Vocal fillers, I think. Yeah. So for instance, we're talking and I'm like, because I'm thinking, I don't really know what I'm going to say next, or I pause or whatever, all those little things, it could go in and it would just take them out automatically, which is a great, wonderful feature. So I could definitely see this being useful for even our podcast, editing our podcast. You just pop it in there, take out all the ums and the ums and the whatevers. Yeah. And it would just do it. Because honestly, whenever I go in and edit these podcasts, it's one of the things I'm doing is for the most part, I don't take them all out because sometimes I feel like they're worth leaving in for various reasons. But for the most part, I'm taking them all out of our conversation just so it's easier to listen to. And with this, theoretically, I wouldn't have to. I just punch one button and it would be done.
Well, there is an app that I've used. Shoot, maybe I should have told you about it. It's called Recut, and you can use Premiere and Final Cut, and it does something similar.
Okay,
where you can import it in, and I thought I maybe showed it to you at some point, but it gets out all the dead air. I don't think it does the ums, but it can at least. If you have just one long A-roll take, it can basically trim all the silences out. So it at least saves you that time. So
okay.
So I've been using that, but yeah, you're right. Taking out the ums would be nice.
I think though, like I don't see myself editing it through text. Maybe I'm wrong. I should probably try it before I say anything definitive. But when I edit, and I'm assuming when you edit, I edit with waveform. So one, I'm usually around when I record video, whether it's of someone else or of myself. Obviously of myself, I'm around. So therefore, I just kind of like find the waveform. It's always the last take because that's how things go. That you end on the take that it was good, for the most part. So you just go in and you ride the waveforms and you find the good part, smash it all together and you call it a day. And then you tweak things like, oh, maybe that wasn't the best one. You go back and find something. But for the most part, that holds true. So I edit that way.
Well, I mean, imagine that. Just really try to put yourself in the shoes of like this type of editing. So if you're saying the last take is the best one, with the text, you just scroll. Oh, there it is. Select, copy, paste, boom, done. Like it's a little. I do think it'll actually be faster to do even what you're saying, because even with the waveforms, it's like, okay, yeah, it's the last take, but like, where did I start that last take and where did I end it? At least with the text, you can visually see there's the beginning of it, there's the end of it. Here's where I repeated that intro 3 times. Let me listen to each one. Okay, the second one of those 3 intros is actually the best. So I'm just going to select that one with a text select, copy, paste that in my project. You see what I mean? Like it's going to be handy, I believe.
Yeah, I guess I'll just have to try it. I mean, you're right. That does, the way you're describing it does sound quite fast, but
I think faster. I think it'll be faster.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll just have to wait and see. And you're the Premiere user. I don't have any of this stuff because I don't use Resolve or Premiere, and Final Cut is nowhere to be found in terms of firmware updates. I'm hoping that we will see something at WWDC, which is going to be in June.
Do you think that this is pessimistic, my brain working here, but do you think they're like kind of leaving Final Cut behind? It feels like they haven't touched it in so long, and they almost like they're avoiding the topic. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like they don't want to say they're going to put down their dog, but they're going to put it down. You know what I mean?
Gosh, I hope not. I've invested a lot of money into plugins. I prefer the timeline editing in Final Cut. In fact, as we were discussing a lot of this, I actually saw a tweet from Jordan because I was looking at the tweets from Armando, and Jordan Drake was saying, I don't have time to learn a new editor, but man, every day I'm, thinking about Resolve.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tyler Stallman says, it crosses my mind every few months. Then I try to actually cut something on the Resolve timeline and throw up face. I'll continue editing in Final Cut Pro and finishing in DaVinci. So,
yeah.
DaVinci was designed to be a finishing program. So, and it still works really well in that way. So if the Relight tool, if even some of these AI tools sound really appealing, but you're a Premiere editor or a Final Cut editor, that workflow still works great to just XML it over. So,
yeah.
If anything, I may just do all my timeline editing, my very straightforward, just cutting and editing in Final Cut, and then maybe bring it over to Resolve and definitely learn how to do some of the color grading and the some of the cool AI stuff, I guess. But
yeah,
I don't know, it'd be better to just do it all there. But
I tried to use DaVinci today, and it just didn't go well. It just didn't. I spent too long trying to make it work, and then at a certain point, like it was. I talked to Zach Mayfield about it actually, and I told him the problem I was running into, and he was like, "Oh, I think that's a bug. I ran into that too a while ago." And I was like, "Oh, well, did you find a solution?" And he goes, "Honestly, he's like, I think I just deleted the whole project and started over." And I was like, "Oh,
great solution."
Great. And so I tried that actually, and I tried starting over, and the problem happened again, and I was like, "I'm done. I'm going to Premiere." And so then I spent a couple extra. Yeah, I spent
Mr. Ramsey, please.
I heard it.
Mr. Ramsey.
It's more like Mr. DaVinci, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I tried, man. I keep trying to like it because I hear great things about it, and all the people who switch, they swear they're like, as a Premiere user, this is the best decision I've ever made. I don't know, man.
With their pinky raised.
Yeah, like
Premiere user.
Yeah, I just don't see it yet. I think maybe I would if I just unsubscribed from Adobe. I think that would be the ticket, right? And then I had no choice.
Well, I will say this, it's the best free program out there. So
I don't know, CapCut's gunning for it now.
Are they free?
Yeah, it's free.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I haven't messed with it much, but I am messing with it, and for a free program that like specializes in making social media content, because that's really what it's for. It's like, I mean, like, shoot, it's actually pretty snazzy.
Do they have a Mac app now, or is it just on the phone?
Mac and Windows, yeah.
Oh, sick.
I downloaded it on my phone, and I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. And then I downloaded it for my computer, my Mac, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is more robust than I thought it would be. I think they have a paid version too, kind of like the DaVinci model, but I had to play with it more, but I was like, not so bad. But yes, DaVinci is still better, probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, DaVinci is crazy advanced with like the Fusion stuff and the is that what it's called? The
Fusion.
It's their After Effects, their node-based After Effects, the audio editing, obviously the color grading. It's best in class. I literally just downloaded CapCut. I'm going to give it a try because
nice.
Honestly, it's funny.
Hey, CapCut, did you hear that? I just influenced someone. I'll send you an invoice.
What's funny is the social media style of editing with the like vertical YouTube Shorts or TikTok format isn't really that complicated, but it is complicated because it goes against what all these like old editors were designed to do.
Right.
To do everything vertical and like having the captions with the animations. Like
that was the thing that I was trying to do. I was just trying to have a vertical timeline in DaVinci Resolve. And it wouldn't do it. Okay. It had a little checkbox in it. And it was like 4K video. Do you want to use this for vertical? And I was like, yes. And then I hit save. And then it was still 16:9. And I was like, okay. So I went back into it and I was like, use for vertical, please. And then it was like, no. And I was like, okay. So I made a new timeline and I was like, let's try this again. And I was like, use for vertical. And it was like, okay. And then I dropped my footage in, and then my footage was really tiny, even though it was 4K footage in a 4K timeline.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever, I'll just scale it up. So I start to scale it up, and it scaled about halfway up and then stopped. Does anyone know how to fix that? Like if you're out there and you know what my problem is and that I'm dumb and I don't know how it works, just please tell me, because I was losing my mind trying to fix it. And I was Googling it. No one seemed to have a solution. I called my buddy. He didn't have a solution. So I don't know.
His solution was delete it and start over.
Yeah. Oh, actually, he did say delete DaVinci. He said you could try that, and I was like, no.
No, that can't be the real solution. There's other ways to do it, and people are probably throwing their fists up in the air right
They're
now.
Like, you're an idiot, and I'm like, I know, but I still don't know how to fix it. As we are approaching an hour here, I think we should quickly just go ahead and cut away to your conversation with Hobie before it's too late. Because you guys had apparently a really good conversation at the Kondor Blue booth. So I'd be interested to hear that.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. Let's cut it over to past David Altizer with Hobie from Kondor Blue at NAB Live. Cutting in here real fast. This is future David talking, editing the podcast. And unfortunately, my interview with Hobie does not sound very good. So please bear with us as you listen. There was some cutting out going on with the audio. I think there was a sample rate issue with the video and the audio. Not completely sure what was going on. I did my best to try to clean up the audio using Isotope RX10, and it still sounds a little bit choppy. If the audio is completely unbearable to you, we would have no hard feelings if you choose to skip it. That's why we include the chapter markers in the description of the podcast. But if you can muster through the audio quality, I think you'll enjoy my conversation with Hobie at the Kondor Blue booth.
You know what has been really cool for me this year is seeing the impact that Kondor Blue has made. Not just here at the booth, because this has become a real creator hub for people to come around and hang out, but it's like I'm seeing it everywhere. Like almost all of the other booths have Kondor Blue cages, except for select booths that sell competing products.
Right.
Other than those booths, your cages are on the Sony cameras. They're on the Canon cameras. They're on the Panasonic cameras. How did that happen? What happened this year? Because I don't think that happened last year.
Last year we were like in a few booths, but it was like I was saying a little bit before this. It's all very like relationship based. So we just ended up having really good relationships with Canon and Sony and Deity. It all just comes down to like we're just trying to be very welcoming, and that's kind of why I think this has become like a creator hub.
Yeah. So tell me about the awesome new SSD handle system that is actually nominated for best product of NAB. Is that right?
That is right. Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's one of the nominations. That's one of just a few new things we have this year. But basically, it takes the SanDisk Pro Blade SSDs, which have been around for a little while, the nice like slim little drives.
It looks like a stick of gum almost. Like it's just a small little drive. It's amazing.
Exactly, and they're really advanced, really cool. And Western Digital, which SanDisk is under, and Panasonic wanted to work with us on making a really functional way to bring this to like film sets. So we looked at the shape and we're like, oh man, this would be really cool in like a handle. And we've been kind of like looking at that idea of like making a handle more functional for a while. So it was like, here's the perfect opportunity. So it takes those NVMe drives, and there's a little interface in the handle where it turns it to USB-C, and our signature USB-C cables work perfect for any camera that can record to SSD. So it's like similar in size to a lot of our other like top handles that we have currently, but we get like 1,000 megabytes per second read and write in our own testing,
Yeah, I think Lucas was telling me that you guys are getting faster speed than SanDisk's own adapters. Is that right, Lucas?
I wasn't going to say that.
Am I allowed to? Am I allowed to slam dunk them?
I wasn't going to say that.
Okay, sorry. Well,
expose.
What's really cool? So basically, if you want to use those memory cards correctly, just buy the handle and plug it into your computer. Don't even use it with a camera.
That's right. Yeah, you can just take it right out of the handle, right out of the camera, and plug the whole handle on the computer. Yeah,
that's true. I guess that's
That's
amazing.
like the point.
What if I'm in a shoot in the middle of in the rain? Will I have to be concerned about that hard drive like frying inside of the handle? Is that something that you've considered, or is it kind of weather sealed inside of that handle? Do you know?
I don't think
Maybe
there's any like
you wrap it with saran wrap.
Probably. There you go. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could. Yeah. Like that's definitely an option. I don't think there's any like specific weather sealing in there.
Sure,
but the vast majority of the drive is enclosed in an aluminum housing, and only the end sticks out. It's just like friction mounted. So
yeah, it's really clean, and it unfortunately it only works with certain Lumix cameras and Blackmagic cameras.
Right.
I would love to see Sony and Canon support
I was going to say that. I was absolutely going to say that.
Like, I mean, honestly, especially Sony, if they enabled the ability to do that, it would just fly off shelves more than it already is, I'm sure. But
I would buy a Sony camera if that were the case, honestly.
What are you shooting on currently?
Right now, I own a Blackmagic 6K Pro.
Oh yeah, well the handle works with that.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm so excited. I'm absolutely going to.
And that camera it has a beautiful image. So,
it does. Yeah, I mean it's
and the NDs too.
Built-in NDs, dedicated power port. I mean, they do a lot of things right.
Yeah,
I
totally.
Think some other brands could maybe like.
So, tell me about your role. I see you in a lot of these the videos for Kondor Blue. What's your role at Kondor, Mr. Hobe?
A lot of things, honestly. I do all social media stuff. So, like on Instagram, like if you like DM us on Instagram or something like that, it's usually me that responds. If not me, it'd be Lucas. But vast majority of the time, it's me. I handle all the affiliate marketing stuff. So any like collaborations with influencers, I'm either facilitate or I'm a big part of. I also do all the videos. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, you can see them playing behind us. Yeah, I do like this ad. That's my hand right there.
That's great. Is that all Blackmagic 6K?
That one, I think that one.
You guys have so many cameras in the office, you could pretty much use whatever, right?
Yeah, so. I have used my camera quite a bit.
Are you a freelance shooter on the side as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I do weddings. I do live events. Like most recently, I've shot like some wrestlings, like WWE style wrestling.
Sick, dude.
That's just fun to shoot. You know what I mean? Like, and it's great because a lot of the wrestlers that's acting too. So like they like know how to play the camera. And
did you see Logan Paul? Logan Paul's like he's signed with WWE. I don't know if he goes to all the events or whatever, but and by the way, I do want to address the floating camera angle to our Golden Hour viewers on YouTube or Spotify. The camera that is floating right now, this is brought to you by Marble, which is the amazing product designed in collaboration with Mr. John and I don't know your last name, John. Iams? With Mr. John and of course Josh Yo from Make Art Now.
Yeah.
So we've got this thing going on a loop. It's been a wonderful B camera because we can cut to a wide, but it's not just a stationary tripod shot.
It's interesting.
And what's actually cool is we've done some panels where there's two people here and I'm sitting there.
Yeah.
And it's the perfect camera because as the kind of administrator to a conversation here, it's moving. So that guy is in the shot, and then also us. It's a brilliant solution, and they have a new update with this speed rail option, which is I think it makes the most sense to me for this product. And now, honestly, John, I want to buy one of these for my studio. I have a garage studio set, so I'm gonna have to talk to you later. So I'm pretty sold on this product.
Yeah, we have a version of this too at the studio, and I just keep trying to figure out ways to like incorporate this in some of our videos.
Yeah, I know it's freaking awesome. You can kind of get super creative with these things. So
yeah, definitely.
So what's going on with just Kondor in general? Like it just seems like you've got these Gerald Undone cables, iJustine, we've got Armando Fiera, like. It's just so cool to see the relationships that Kondor's made and then the continuation, the evolution of the product. ingenuity of the handle. I mean, what's it like kind of working here and seeing all the innovation?
Oh man, it's something else, honestly. I'm just super proud to be a part of it. The ingenuity is just absolutely blows me away, and being able to get to work with people like you, it's such a blessing, honestly. And I'm just so grateful that like I get to offer input on some of these products that we're doing. Like I know we have like a prototype of our new multi-tool that we're going to be coming out with pretty soon, and just the care that's put into it, and like the amount of revisions we go through, because either like me or like Gabriel, who we have managing our AV, shout out Gabe, love you, man. We'll be like, oh, it'd be really cool if it had like this feature. And so like, you know, Lucas being a fantastic CEO, will, you know, he'll recognize a good idea when he sees one or something like that.
What's one of your personal favorite products from Kondor Blue?
SSD top handle.
It's
gonna have to
me
be
too.
A big one,
especially as a Blackmagic shooter. And I'm hopefully going to get a hold of the new S5 2X.
I'm going to buy one.
Which I think that camera will work. They're not perfectly like clarifying. Like I talked to Panasonic, they're like, well, technically speaking, we don't have the firmware yet, but obviously I would imagine it was kind of done in collaboration with Panasonic.
It was,
so I would imagine it will.
Right. I just talked to them and they say they can't officially say whether it's going to work or not, but they would be shocked if it didn't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, so to kind of close this up, what are some things just in the industry in general, not just Kondor Blue based, but like what are some things that excite you about the film industry right now?
All the new lights coming out I think are really exciting. I know we have like the some of the Aperture Infinity bars. I think these are really cool. I know Zcam was just here showing us their new camera that they're going to be coming out with. It looks absolutely crazy. I love that. I haven't had too much time to like go around and like look at all the new stuff, but I'm just it's crazy like what the new like S5 II and S5 2X can do in just such a small form factor with 6K full frame, and the price is really good and the size is incredible. I just love how everything's just getting much more like
smaller,
better, faster, stronger. Yeah, like it's
totally, man.
Blows me away, man.
Totally. Well, thanks, Obi, for being on the Golden Hour podcast.
Thank you.
Back to you, future Dave and Connor.
So here we are back into the future.
Yeah, what a great conversation that we totally listened to with you guys. We listen along with you, for real.
And again, I can't speak high enough of Lucas and the whole team at Kondor Blue. They all treated us so well, and they're so kind. And it was very exciting to see their products all over the show floor at different booths. I'm just really excited to see a company that, is based in America, that has a team of great people. They've worked with Armando, they've worked with Gerald, they've worked with iJustine. They really have, put themselves into the community really well. And it's because they actually care about having solid, amazing relationships with people. And they're just some guys over there. So,
I always forget how much I miss hanging out with them until I'm chilling with them all again. Especially Howie. Howie, if you're listening to this, I miss you, man.
Yeah. You guys could still play some Smash Bros. Online, I guess, if you wanted to.
No.
Online is pretty terrible.
Oh, it's so bad. It's not worth it. Dave last year started doing this thing. We were having an In-N-Out event. Meet Dave, hang out with Dave, kind of a thing. And he had another one. Tell us how it went.
Yeah. So the second annual In-N-Out Meetup. And I think I might come up with an actual name because it's actually turning into something. Burgers and cameras was what I was thinking. Maybe
just In-N-Out at In-N-Out.
In-N-Out at In-N-Out.
Yeah.
But it was great. We had about 50 people that signed up on the Eventbrite, which was crazy to see. And I think almost 50 people, if not 50 people, showed up. Which was
it was a pretty good turnout, man. It was great.
And we picked an In-N-Out location that is kind of off the strip, and it's kind of just in, kind of more the suburb area. So it's a little ways out there for some of the people that unfortunately had to pick up Ubers and stuff. So I appreciate all of you who actually, spent the money on an Uber ride to get out there. So thanks for coming. Thankfully, it's offset by the cheapness of the food, but it was BYOB, buy your own burger. And there were definitely a couple of people there who had never even had In-N-Out before. So I think it's up to everybody, if you're on the West Coast, to give it a shot, see if you like it. It's pretty affordable. They have raised their prices since the last time I had it. But I think that's just happening everywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah.
To inflation. It's still cheap, but it was like $5 or something for a burger, but
something like that.
Not the end of the world. Milkshakes are great. Milkshakes are top notch. I really love the vanilla milkshake. I've had all of them. And
all three of them.
Vanilla is my favorite. They have chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. The milkshakes to me are pretty dang good, especially for the price. Burgers are the best fast food burger, I think. And Connor's going to argue with me on this. But their fries are maybe the worst fries in the fast food community. I can't think of a worse fry. Let's just say that.
I'm glad we agree on one thing about In-N-Out.
And it's so odd because as you're ordering your meal, you can see employees sweating away, taking real potatoes, literally like freshly skinned potatoes. And by the way, there's another person over there skinning them.
Right.
So they're literally taking potatoes, and then they're like, "Is this just a show? Like, are they just taking the potatoes and doing that for show?"
That's actually just a video that's on repeat to make it look like they're using real potatoes.
So clearly these are freshly made fries, but maybe our skewed like fast food, like stuff that's been put in a freezer and transported across the country to franchises all across the country. Maybe all the preservatives and garbage that we're used to with McDonald's has tainted us, and that when we eat a fresh fry, we're like, oh, garbage.
Five Guys exists.
Yeah,
and their fries are popping.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
But here's my argument for In-N-Out. So let me just say first up, so before I go into the rant about In-N-Out, the meeting was great. We had a bunch of people show up.
We saw people there.
It was great to see a lot of the friends. Again, I feel like we kind of covered a lot of this at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because, I just posted this thing on Twitter, on Instagram, and people showed up. So
who made the shirts? That was fun.
So Kyle Watts, who was there last year, he made these shirts, and there was this really funny inside joke of this pigeon that was there last year. That
Milton.
We ended up naming him Milton, and he was this really like just scraggly, just disgusting looking pigeon, just like he's been through some.
He's seen some shit, little bleep in there, maybe.
He's definitely been around the block, and he was just sitting there, and we were like approaching him, like throwing our food away in the trash can, and he would not move. So we thought he was dead for a minute. I think somebody
forgot about that.
Pushed the trash can, and he kind of moved a little bit, and we all freaked out. So it's just a silly little inside joke. And so Kyle made these hilarious shirts that say "Free Milton." And unfortunately, he was not there this year, but we do this in his memory.
Yeah.
And another cool thing for this year as well, Stuart from DJI, I saw him at the show floor earlier that day. And he said, "Hey, I saw you're doing that In-N-Out meetup. Is it okay if I come?" I was like, "Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah. Why not?" He was like, "You think they would like some DJI merch?" I was like, "Yes." You think 50 filmmaking nerds are gonna like DJI merch? Of course. So
I got a pen somewhere.
So he brought pins. He brought notebooks. He brought some really nice, just all black, just matte black hats.
I didn't get one.
Those are really popular.
I missed out.
My brother got one, and he wears it every day.
He should. It sounds like a cool hat.
So, and it was cool too. I gave a little speech, and I did mention in the speech, I kind of said, "And by the way, DJI's here. Let's give them a round of applause. DJI, you're going to pay for it next year, right? You're going to pay for burgers for everybody." I kind of made Stuart awkwardly nod his head, yeah.
Yeah. Sure. He's like, "I'm not coming next year. It's crazy."
I think my dream would be to get this thing catered, have you guys register a week in advance. That way we kind of know who's showing up. And then if we could partner with somebody like DJI or Kondor Blue or whoever, and provide the burgers, I think that'd be great. But back on the burger tangent. So Connor and I have had this argument for years, and about a year ago, we had this great like car ride for like an hour. We just we argued about the validity of In-N-Out's supremeness.
Yeah.
And so I now have learned how to argue this with Connor. I think we've like come to an agreement. We've come to terms on it. And
sure.
Basically, what In-N-Out provides is simply a very stripped down menu. They have a standard burger, they've got a cheeseburger, they've got a double burger, and that's it. Then they've got fries that go with it. They've got milkshakes.
It doesn't go with it. It goes against it, but yeah.
Yeah. But that's it. Like their menu is very stripped down. It's just they've got like 5 things on the menu, and then you have a secret menu. They've got the In-N-Out monster, or what is it? The animal. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Which is just like
Thousand Island dressing thrown on it.
Yeah, Thousand Island dressing with some grilled onions. Mm-hmm. There's some other things too, like the protein style, which is I actually opted for that this time around because I just didn't want to feel too heavy. I didn't want to eat too much bread, so it's they remove the bun and have a nice kind of lettuce wrap type of style with the burger, and it's great if you don't want to eat a bunch of bread. So I don't know if they have a vegetarian option. I'm not sure if they're doing like the Impossible Burger.
They probably just give you lettuce. Yeah, probably.
But In-N-Out seems to always be packed, although this one strangely was not packed. But at least in LA, when I lived in California, like literally every In-N-Out, almost every hour was like out the door, so it's very popular, very good food. High quality burger for the price. So in my opinion, I believe In-N-Out has the best tasting fast food burger. And again, I think the price is a valid point because it's like saying, okay, if like, so like you're in your standard like kind of suburb of America, there's an Outback Steakhouse, there's a Longhorn Steakhouse, and then there's like a actual mom and pop steakhouse that is expensive and it's like fresh steak. Is Longhorn the best steak like in the city? No, it's not. Like you can go to a nice steakhouse, but is Longhorn the most available in the country, and is it the most consistent? Yeah, maybe. So I'd say that In-N-Out, though it's not the best burger, like you can't make that statement because there's like actual real burger places. I'm not trying to compare it to like a frou-frou high cuisine, really expensive burger place, which those exist all across the country, and we can argue which one of those is the best. But for the money, I don't think you can find a better burger, especially, at least in my opinion, the flavor. I think it tastes great, it's consistent, and it's fresh. The vegetables are fresh. The the meat tastes really good. The fries are not good. Like I said, I personally don't like the fries. In fact, I don't know anybody that likes the fries. Like, I think I was even talking about it with people at In-N-Out. They ordered the fries. They're like, "What's up with these fries?" I was like, "I know, right? It's they're flaccid fries. You can actually order them a little bit more crunchy and like
Does that help?
Not really, because I think
okay.
the lack of salt in it.
It has to be the fry oil. That's just, it has to be what it is.
So, and then the shake is wonderful. I love that vanilla shake is really, really good. So burger and the shake. My order when I go there, I skip the fries altogether. I order 2 double burgers. I usually get 2 double cheeseburgers with a vanilla shake. Go ahead and accuse me of being a fatty, but
okay.
That's what I usually order. I get a water. I'm not a soda drinker myself, so there's no reason to go for the combo, which is like, well, I might as well get the combo if I'm getting a soda because you might as well get the fries. But anyways, best burger for the dollar, in my opinion. Very good, very tasty, great milkshake. Go Connor.
I was going to say, I mean, I was waiting for my time there. It's quite the defense. All right, Your Honor. May I now accuse them of making a perfectly, it's a perfectly average burger. It just is. I mean, I love the idea and the concept because it's like all fresh ingredients. It's like, wow, that's so great. I love that. Great choice. But like, it's okay.
You suck.
Yeah, it's just, and what's funny is I don't remember who it was, but someone was sitting across from me and it was their first time having In-N-Out. I think it was one of the DJI guys, because there was a few of them. And I was like, so, like, honest opinions, what do you think about it? And he kind of looked around to gauge the place, because he was like, he felt like he was a part of an In-N-Out crowd, right? And I said, you can be honest. And he goes, it's okay. And I was like, exactly. Here's my theory, right? Here's my In-N-Out theory. It's the same theory that you could do for Whataburger or anything else, right? There's a culture around the food. People from California or the coast, the West Side, that was like their thing. It was their hangout. They grew up eating it. I get it. You're literally tasting nostalgia. The recipe probably hasn't changed since you were a kid. That's awesome. But as someone who went to California and was fed this burger, and when I tell you that they were describing it like Jesus himself was fabricating the burger in the back, I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to eat the best burger, at least the best fast food burger of my life. And then I'm like, I got the fries, I got the milkshake, and I will tell you, the milkshake was the best part. The burger was okay and the fries were abysmal. And then, you like have opinions, and they don't like those in California because it's their baby. It's their sweet baby burger. And so they're like, no, you just ordered it wrong. I was like, I ordered it wrong. There's 3 things on the menu. I ordered all 3 things. What do you want me to do? And they're like, no, it's a secret menu, brother. Okay, we keep it on the down low, but this is how you do it. Okay, so I ordered the secret menu. It's the same burger with a Thousand Island dressing on it. Or it's the same really bad fries with a slice of American cheese and Thousand Island dressing on it. I just think it's okay. It's not like I'm not offended to eat it, but the fact that I'm saying it's okay means that I don't like it, according to people who worship it. So are there better burgers out there for fast food? Honestly, I'd rather eat a few other burgers out there. So that's just my opinion. It's not just because of the burger, though. For me, we've already talked about this, Dave, but it's the whole package, right?
Yeah.
I want a whole meal, So if the burger's okay and the fries are dog tier terrible,
yeah,
then that's not a great meal, So I'd rather go somewhere else.
Well,
there you go. There's my 2 cents.
I just pulled up the menu here, the updated 2023 menu. So $4.80 for a double, so that's 2 slabs of meat. The standard cheeseburger is $3.35. Wendy's is the same price. It's literally the same price for a double. Actually, it's more. It's $5.19.
Here's what I'll say. In-N-Out is consistent. It's consistently every single time I've ever gone there, I've gotten the same experience. Now, is it my favorite experience? No, but it's consistently the same. Yeah. On a good day, Wendy's is better. The fries are better. The burger's better. The Frosties are great. We're having a great time at Wendy's. However, Wendy's does miss a lot, especially lately. I've been to Wendy's a few times lately, and I have been very disappointed in the quality of the food I've received. So if you're talking about a pure, consistent, cheap burger, In-N-Out probably is the best.
Oh.
But the problem is that on the good days for those other places, those places slap. You know what is the worst burger, though?
And is this something that we can all agree on, you think?
I think so.
What's the worst burger?
Burger King.
Oh, really? It's
just think about it.
Actually, you're right. Yeah. I did have, because they have really cheap kids burgers, so we've been going there for the kids.
Okay.
I snagged like a Whopper or whatever they call it, and I was pleasantly surprised. But I wouldn't, like, McDonald's has the McDonald's flavor. They have the ketchup with the little onion pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So like McDonald's might be technically the worst in terms of like filled with preservatives and like health, but
yes,
it has that McDonald's flavor, which is also got that nostalgic thing. And I think McDonald's is pretty consistent. It's consistently, preserved.
Yeah, I mean, it might be the same burger they were feeding us from the 80s. Same batch. Who knows?
So you might be right on that. Yeah, I can't think of a worse one.
What was that place that was close to you that was really good? That was kind of like Freddy's. I like Freddy's. Freddy's are great.
I'd say Freddy's. If you've had a Freddy's or if you have one near you, I'd recommend going. I would say Freddy's is probably better than In-N-Out, but it's also twice as much. It's about $10 for a burger, I believe, like a double. It's like $7. And
then, was it really for the whole meal? $10?
Yeah. But, I did call you the other day because I went to Steak and Shake and I was like, dude, I think I found the kind of the solution to In-N-Out for me is like Steak and Shake has really good fries, that crispy, salty, fry. They even have like specialty seasonings that you can put on it. And they do the flat burger as well, where they make
smash burgers. Smash burgers are the best burgers.
Yeah. Freddy's does that too. Freddy's is like a higher quality Steak and Shake.
Yeah.
So I do recommend Freddy's if you have one in your location, but I would say Steak and Shake is a good option because they have a $4.44 meal now where you can get a burger, fry for $4.44. So we'll do that sometimes after church because it's nearby.
Nice.
But the thing with In-N-Out is, yes, I think it is subjective. Is that the word? It's not objective. It's
subjective. Yeah, it
is subjective based off of your palate. And I do personally think, Connor and I may have different, flavor palettes and what we like and what we don't like.
True.
I genuinely, I don't agree. Like I didn't grow up eating In-N-Out like a lot of the Californian people did, though I did have it as a child. So I can't say I didn't eat it when I was younger, but I do genuinely, I personally find the flavor of the meat combined with, I do think arguably they have some of the freshest lettuce, onion, tomato, that you get in a fast food chain.
Yeah.
That combination of the flavor of the meat, the freshness of the bun, the freshness of all the pieces, that combined, it's a symphony of beauty inside of my mouth.
I will say the last one I had was the best one I've had. And I was like, I told the girl, I'm like, listen, In-N-Out's not really my favorite. I was like, how should I spice this up? She's like, we can cook the patty in mustard. And I was like, okay, sure.
Oh, that's interesting.
Never thought to do that. And I liked it. That was good. It was good change. Good change. And then I had them grill the onions. That was good.
Nice. Yeah.
It was definitely better. So I will say that's probably the way I'll order it from now on whenever I'm back there, because I'll be back. I always am.
I just think like the statement, like if you're on the Connor wagon of like, or maybe even more intense than Connor of like, and maybe he's become a little bit more educated on In-N-Out, and so you have lightened your tune a bit. You used to be really anti In-N-Out, like just in general. I think it's important to appreciate like they really do work with they build their own farms. Like they have their own cows, they have their own vegetables.
Yeah.
They source their potatoes somewhere, even though the fries are just, I think, objectively bad.
That one's objective.
But
yeah.
But that's why you don't see In-N-Outs all over the country, because in order for In-N-Out to exist, there has to be an infrastructure around it, because they don't ship things in from like multiple states over on a truck. They're shipping it in from a local farm, which is why everything is consistent and everything tastes fairly.
Maybe when they build one in Nashville, which they are working on 2024, maybe that Nashville beef will make it good.
That's right right there. They'll probably do a Nashville hot chicken version too.
I hope not.
If you live in Nashville, like it's even worse than if you go outside of Nashville. It seems like most places now have caught on with this Nashville hot chicken craze. Get Nashville hot chicken versions of everything.
You can get it at KFC.
Yeah, but when you live in Nashville, it's just like everywhere. It really is like, you go to some random like Mediterranean place and they happen to have like, Nashville hot chicken to go with your pita bread. It's like, no, I'm good. But
yeah,
I digress. name me a fast food chain that charges $4.80 for a double that has freshly sourced ingredients and pays their employees $17 an hour starting out. Find that for me. I'll wait. Maybe
Chick-fil-A. Do you want it to also have the logo of In-N-Out as well? You can put enough qualifiers on it that you can't. So, it also has to be from LA or from California, and they have to wear those little hats.
And they have to have scripture on the bottom of each cup.
Name me another place like that. Okay. You can't. No, I think I love everything In-N-Out stands for. I really do. I think that in terms of that, great company.
Yeah, it's a well-run company. They pay their employees well. My cousins both worked there. They lived in Arizona, and they are in Arizona. But and yeah, as teenagers, they were making like well above minimum wage as well. So that's kind of cool that they do that. And yeah, I would almost compare it to the hamburger of it's like what Chick-fil-A is to chicken sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
In-N-Out sort of is for hamburgers, though their menu is much smaller. And it's obvious that Chick-fil-A has made billions more dollars than In-N-Out because they've really figured out the franchise model really well. But
I will say, I do understand where you're coming from on someone hating on your child that is In-N-Out, because at In-N-Out, some guy just randomly was like, well, I don't like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A sucks. And I was like, I was like, what do you mean? How dare you? And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I get it. Like whatever. People can have opinions. Mr. Ramsey, please. Yeah.
It was Gordon Ramsay who was saying, yeah, Chick-fil-A sucks.
Yeah. Listen, I would smack Gordon if he said that. But this other guy, I didn't, obviously. And it's like, okay, fine. People can have their opinions. And in talking to him, it was like he preferred a crispy chicken sandwich. That's fine.
Okay.
That was his only qualifier, though, for not liking Chick-fil-A. And I was like, well, it tastes amazing and the sauces are great. He's like, oh, yeah, that's all true. I don't like it, though. It sucks. I was like, okay. You can have an opinion.
Yeah. You're wrong, but you
right. Yeah. Listen, Chick-fil-A is objectively the best, okay? There is nothing better. You like it. I don't know.
So here's an interesting hypothetical for me. I won't throw this at you because it's obvious what you choose. But the hypothetical would be, if I could only choose In-N-Out or Chick-fil-A in my region, what would I choose?
I choose In-N-Out. No, please go ahead.
With all this In-N-Out praise, you would think In-N-Out, but I think I still would choose Chick-fil-A over In-N-Out. It has much more value overall because it just has more options.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have a culture of, like it's a great place for the children to go. There's often playgrounds attached to it. There's more variety there with the seasonal shakes, which it's summertime. Ooh, that means peach.
Oh my gosh, you're right. The peach shake is coming back. Let's go. Here's the truth. It's harder to replace Chick-fil-A. Like, what would you replace with it? Popeyes? It's similar, but it's totally different, right? At the end of the day, In-N-Out is a burger and fries, and you can get a burger and fries at a lot of places.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, okay.
Good.
Yeah. Well, Five Guys is pretty great, but it costs like literally your left hand.
I know I think we were having this argument, and then we went to Five Guys. I was like, dadgum, I spent $25 on this stupid meal. It's like, what the heck, man?
I mean, they do give you like a bag full of fries.
And
peanuts. And like the burger is like denser than the core of the sun. So, I mean, you got all that going on for you, but it's expensive. I think it's like $15 for just the burger.
Yeah, that's too expensive, and it's. Yeah. I don't think it garners the price. I would maybe pay $9, but that's just not worth it.
No, I won't. I won't go to Five Guys for that reason. Too much.
I'm sure you've noticed too, Connor. Like, there's been Whataburgers popping up everywhere in Nashville now, which is kind of cool because I grew up going to Whataburger in Florida all the time when I was younger. And
what? Whataburgers in Florida?
Yeah.
I'm from Florida. I didn't know that.
That's the only place I ever had it, was in like Destin and Fort Lauderdale and stuff.
I guess it wasn't in St. Petersburg.
But yeah, for some reason, Whataburger I think has a similar kind of cult following, but
it's okay.
We went, and that one certainly is okay.
It's okay.
I definitely don't. And that was expensive, and the line was through the roof. It took us like an hour to get our food. I was just like, this is stupid. It was not worth it. Not worth it.
I don't know if it was just the one I got, but I just got their regular Whataburger burger, and it had like, I think, an entire onion chopped up, like coarsely chopped on the top. And I was like, wow, this doesn't, I hope this isn't intentional. Not my favorite either.
You know what is my favorite? This episode. I think this is the best episode we've ever done.
The one where we talk about fast food for like half an hour, maybe more.
It's something we can all get behind, right? So if you agree or disagree with us on any of these things, please let us know in the comments.
Here we go. If you're still listening to this right now, okay, here's the deal. Go over to youtube.com at Golden Hour Podcast. I think that's our link, right? If it's not GHP, go find us, okay? GH Pod. I know how this works, and leave a comment. In-N-Out or Chick-fil-A. That's it. Just say no explanation. Just In-N-Out, Chick-fil-A. If you're still listening,
perfect.
Because I want to know, and I want to see more Chick-fil-A's. I expect that.
All right, and sorry for all of those of you who live in other countries that unfortunately don't get to.
I want to hear your answer, anyways.
Yeah, just take a pick. Take your pick. Yeah. And whenever you're in America, make sure to go visit one of these two places.
Yeah.
And be forewarned that the In-N-Out fries are garbage.
Yeah, just get the burger.
Get the waffle fries at Chick-fil-A.
There you go. And then go get an In-N-Out burger. Now you're thinking.
That's right.
Man.
All right. Well, Connie, boy, that was a pleasure talking to you. It's been too long. It's been a couple days since I saw you in Vegas, but In-N-Out, or no, NAB. It was.
What was this podcast about?
I think the majority of it was about In-N-Out, but
yeah, I think so.